Good afternoon, guys. Hey, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Wednesday, April the 28th. Almost through April. Can't believe it's almost May. We'll jump over here into the ES, and this looks like a whole bunch of craziness going on here, but let me tell you what's going on. So, today was Fed Day, if you didn't know. FOMC committee with press conference afterwards. So Powell spoke, and that happened. And it's so funny to watch these things; they're kind of predictable. This is when the press release happened, and they said no change. And the market, we get this crazy. It's always like this. We get a big, rip up or rip down. Either way, and then we come back kind of to the middle, and we kind of figure out what's going on. This was at 2 o'clock, and then at 2:30, you had the press conference, and that's when Powell starts speaking. So we got this big rip up, and then chop, 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 and then he starts speaking, and he says, "We are going to keep the printing presses going. We put bigger engines on them, and they're just printing as fast as they can go, and we see no problem in sight. There's no inflation that we see, and no problems at all. And we just rip, 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 rip here to a new all-time high." And then he, in the next sentence, said, and I'm paraphrasing all this, of course. He said there are some, see right here, there are some assets that might be overvalued. Boom, big smackdown here. And then the rest, let me zoom in here, the rest is just kind of chopped for the end of the day. It's kind of crazy when he says things are great, and then he says, well, maybe some things are overvalued. And then we kind of, chop, chop, chop into the end, and this is after hours, we're kind of chopping as well. So basically, the Fed is going to keep interest rates low indefinitely and keep pumping the gas on this fire, as it were, which is fine. We've had a fantastic market and all that kind of stuff. My only concern is one, inflation, which nobody seems to see, but me, and two, how long can you keep this going, right? And the higher we go, the more likely it is, or the possibility that the other side might get kind of ugly. So we'll see. We've got trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of stimulus coming our way as well, and Biden's going to speak tonight, and there's going to be another couple of $1 trillion coming. So we'll see how that affects everything, and obviously should be positive. But I do think the stimulus money is kind of a sugar high, whereas the Fed money has been pretty consistent over quite a few years, lately. So again, we'll see. This thing can keep going, and I'm not at all going to short it or even talk about shorting it. But let's kind of put everything in perspective here. It's a beautiful chart, right? Everybody knows, we're extended. If you look at any, any of the measures that we use, if we'll look at ATRs here. Where are you? Cattle channels there. All right, so at 3 ATR here, we typically do pull back somewhat. We haven't, and maybe we keep going there. And in fact, I could make a case for the other side where people say this will start, because of a couple more $1 trillion coming in, and the Fed is just going to push this thing. Maybe that starts the case for another leg higher from here, and and it might. But let's go back here and put this in a little different perspective, and let's go out here. Let's look at here's a 30-year chart, because I started trading right here. I've been trading professionally for 33 years and been through all this. And as I look back, of course, this is amazing. This is getting a little parabolic, right? And that does not mean that it's got to crash and burn and all that kind of stuff. But having traded through this and then this sell off and then this and this sell off, and it took us, this was 7-8 years to get back to our original point here, another 7 or 8 years to get back to our original point here. Might that happen here at some point? I don't know. Here, the S&P, the ES, we were at 1600. It went to 800 twice. Right here, we're at 4,000. Could it go back to 2,000? Yeah, could. I mean, I don't know. And again, don't. That's not the point of this video. I'm just trying to put everything in perspective to say, hey, maybe we're a little extended here. And again, maybe if I'd only been trading for 1 year and this was the only chart that I knew, I would just buy calls on everything, right? But again, you got to peel the layers back of the onion and see what's driving it, and is this going to continue and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm saying both sides. To get on the other side, corporate earnings, we're having another record quarter. They're saying this is going to be the best quarter in decades because of the boost or the bounce from the pandemic levels and all that kind of stuff. And so far, it's pretty good. We will have Amazon tomorrow after the close. Let's jump over here real quick while I've got you here. We'll look at, we had Apple today here after the close. Big bounce up. It's kind of come back down a little bit. We had Facebook, big rip up here higher. We had Google, big rip up higher. That was yesterday. Microsoft did not do so well. It really ripped up ahead of this, and now it's trading lower and lower and lower. So again, we're still kind of in limbo. We will have Google tomorrow after the close and so forth, and I expect that we might get some at least temporary consolidation, and we could, again, we could start a new leg higher here, or we could pull back a little bit. And I'm not positioned for any kind of big black swan crazy thing like that. I'm not. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's likely. I do think in the next couple of months, as we go into, especially next month or two, I think it's not a bad idea to maybe take some chips off the table if you got a lot of profit, or maybe start at least thinking about doing a little hedging on the downside. The old saying, sell in May and go away. We will be through earnings season. All of the Fed's bullets will have been gone by then. All of the stimulus money is going to be out there by then. So, think about that possibility. Again, I don't want to sound too bearish. I just want to be realistic about what I'm seeing out there, and we know we're extended. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, and I'm bullish. I will buy it if we dip. I'll be a buyer, but I'd rather be a buyer, down here at 4,100, 4,000 or something like that, to get some bargains. Up here, there's not a lot of bargains left. So that's, I guess the whole point of this. But anyway, I wish I had a trade for you guys, but again, I don't. I said that last week. The higher we go, I've been kind of waiting on certain levels. We hit 4,200 in the SPX today, another new all-time high. And again, we're just kind of crossing the peak of earnings season now with all the big tech, and we'll start declining, or there'll be fewer, reporting over the next couple of weeks. So we'll see what that gives us. So that's what I've got for us today. Again, just interesting observations. Nothing really that we can do a whole lot with either way until we get a little further through earnings season. I will be looking for opportunities if we pull back enough. I'm not real keen on trying to add too much to longs unless it's some kind of honey badger or something specifically that looks very interesting. And there might, if we do get any kind of pull back, sell in May and go away kind of thing, there'll probably be a rotation into some of these more defensive type names and that type thing. So we'll start looking there, and in the next week or so. But until then, I'm just going to wait and watch, because that's all we can do at this point. So keep an eye out on Amazon for tomorrow after the close. We'll see what happens there, and we'll go from there. So thanks for the time, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me